How are you today? Happy Friday. I hope you guys are doing well and that you're having a fantastic morning. So this morning I'm going to be talking to you guys about how is your personal self-care. So a big part of how I help women is I empower them to find self-love at any size, and that's through a lot of different holistic and mystic approaches, but a big part of self-love is self-care. And so I have been coming on here throughout the last couple weeks, months, and been talking to you guys sporadically about the different types of self-care. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about personal self-care and how yours is. And if you maybe need some little bit of tips and tricks to help you to figure out how to improve your personal self-care. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started here. If you guys are watching this on Facebook this morning, I would encourage you to head on over to YouTube when this video is done. Hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications for every time that I come live, which is Monday to Friday around 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on life. But you can expect me on here around then. On my YouTube channel, you will find lots of different videos on exactly what I'm helping people with is to empower them to find self-love at any size. We do that through different yoga practices, meditations, little topics like these, mystic approaches like oracle cards, crystals, that kind of stuff. So if that sounds something like you need more of in your life, be sure to just head on over to my YouTube channel and make sure that you're following me over there. So let's get started, you guys. So personal self-care. How is your personal self-care? So tell me in the comments if you have a personal self-care routine, or if you even know what personal self-care is. So we're going to talk about all those things. So first of all, personal self-care is how you take care of you specifically. So who you are, your personal self-care is who you are when you strip away all the roles of parent, spouse, mother, wife, pet mom, your job title, your social status, your volunteer positions, whatever it is. On those things, kind of, yes, they all make up who you are. But your personal self-care is who you are when you strip away all of that, and who you are when you just are you, without all those attachments. And people struggle with that. So many people struggle with that question because so much of the time we put so much of ourselves into all those other things, right? Like into being a mom, being a wife, being a career person, whether or not you're working in the home or out of the home. If you're a pet mom, lots of people put their identity into those things, and then they start to kind of forget about who's inside and who they are. And so that's what I'm here to help you guys with today. If you kind of feel like when I ask you that question of how your personal self-care is and you're like, like crickets, then this is how we're going to help. And these are tips that I want you guys to not feel overwhelmed by it. Self-care can also feel overwhelming to some people. And so I want to make sure that you realize that I'm here to help you make it something you can actually achieve, something that's not going to make you feel like you have one more thing on your list to do, because that's not why I'm here. So, okay, let's get into it, you guys. I have a couple different ways that we can start to look at our self-care practices for our personal self-care and how we can start to implement those practices into our busy lives. So the first thing I want you to do, you guys, is just take a minute to sit down and assess your self-care level. So assess on so personal self-care are all the things that it kind of like is your true self. Your personal self-care can be goals that you have for yourself personally. It can be hobbies that only you love. So it's not hobbies that your kids love or your husband loves or your friends love. They oftentimes do love the same hobbies as you, and that's what makes you friends, but not always. And so it's hobbies that you love that are just for you, and it's your belief system. So it's what you believe, and that can be, different than everyone else, and that's okay. So it's really starting to look at your self-care level. So the level of self-care you have for those kind of areas when we're talking about your true self, your goals, your hobbies, and your belief system. And so look at your week. So I want you guys to just sit down for a minute, if you have a minute today, and look at your week. And look at if you have done anything towards any of those 4 key areas. And so have you taken time for a hobby that only you love? So I'm going to use myself as an example. Why not? And so I like yoga. So did I take any time this week to do yoga? And I can say that I did this week. So that is good because I felt really weird energy around the new moon and retrograde and all the stuff that's going on in the world. So I did take time for yoga this week. So I did fulfill that part of I know that it's part of my personal self-care that I need to do to feel my best. So, and then I did go for a couple walks this week as well. So once you kind of look at your week and kind of just look at it briefly and glance at if you've taken any time to do any of those things that kind of fill your cup, right? When it comes to your personal self-care. And so the next thing I want you guys to think about is trying to develop a plan. And so I want you to think of this as like picking your favorite flavor of ice cream. So you may love, I don't know, let's say you love Rocky Road ice cream, but your whole family likes vanilla. So I want you to pick Rocky Road ice cream, regardless of if anyone else likes it. It's like going to the store even and picking ice cream up for your family. Sometimes you need to just pick the ice cream that you want, not because everyone else wants it. So just think of it like that. So think of it, and I know you moms out there, the first thing that you're probably going to say, or even spouses, the first thing you may think is, that's being selfish. I can't be selfish. That's not being a good mom or a good wife. I want you to be selfish right now. I want you to be. I'm giving you permission. So developing a plan, when we're thinking of it as picking your own ice cream, I want you to just think about something that you could maybe do today even. And it could be 2 minutes. It could be a half hour. It could be an hour. And I know what you're thinking. I don't have time to do something for a whole hour today. And that's okay. I totally get you. I am there with you. But I think the other thing to think about is that self-care doesn't have to be long. Self-care can be things like, watching or listening to a podcast that you like while you are cleaning up the house, or listening to music that you love while you're working. It could be taking, on your break, taking a moment to journal if that's what you love to do. Or if you love to draw, then taking a moment to maybe get out your sketchbook and draw for 5 minutes while you're having a cup of coffee. Just incorporating the things that you love into your day-to-day life and making it a part of your day-to-day life, because that's really how we feel fulfilled and balanced, is when we're able to do the things that kind of set our soul on fire and that make us happy and all that stuff. So just some ideas for you guys. You could watch a movie you like, you could run, you could exercise, you could dance, you could play a game on your phone if that's what you like to do. You could do any outdoor activities. You could take a yoga class, you could get creative. So something I talked about yesterday with kind of inner child work is coming back to things that you did as a child. So for example, if you loved to paint as a child, maybe coming back to that at some point in your week. And thinking about also starting to, like, if you are a mom and you feel like, Martina, I can't have time to do one more thing, maybe paint with your kids. And I know I was a children's librarian for 15 years, and I always, it was always so funny because I would make sure like we would have messy projects, because then it kind of fulfilled the need. The kids loved it, and parents are like, thank God we're doing it here, because I can't do this at home. I just can't. And so try it. Like, I would encourage you to try something that you may be dreading with your kids to do, because it's actually really fun. And life is made up of memories, right? And experiences, and it's kind of like the whole stepping out of comfort zones too, right? When you do something that you may think of like the afterthought of like, oh my God, I have to clean up all the paint. I have to wash everything down. I just don't have the energy. And I understand, but even as an adult, without thinking about little kids, even as just a person, the idea of getting all the paint stuff out and then putting it all away when I'm done, like it just does feel like a big deal, right? But I want you guys to just think of maybe doing one of those things, like, and it doesn't have to be painting. Like, this can be like, if you used to love making jewelry, like if you loved beading, or if you loved, I don't know, drawing, or if you loved coloring, like do those things, right? It can be simple. It doesn't have to be stressful. So just really thinking about the things you love, you guys, is really what I'm trying to get my point across. And so develop a plan. So picking maybe one thing this week that you can do, it can be short or long, that's towards your personal self-care. And then the next thing I want you guys to think about is how to take action. Making sure that your plan that you're kind of thinking about in your head is realistic, that it's something that you can actually see through, because that's a really big important part of this, is actually doing the things, and to start slow, like to not put so much pressure on yourself, and to really take the time to make sure that what you're planning out is realistic, and that you can feel like you're going to be able to be successful. And then as with any kind of thing that we're working towards, it's important to monitor your progress. So making sure that at the end of every week, maybe you go back and look and say, hey, did I take any time for myself this week? Did I make some time for that personal self-care? Like, did I take that time to enjoy coloring for 15 minutes? Or did I sit and listen to music? Or did I play that podcast while I was working? Whatever it is, just taking those personal moments for yourself, and know that you are worth it, that it's not selfish, and that it's crucial to our self-love that we are trying to work on. And it's super important, you guys. So do the things. Do the things. So that's all I had for you guys this morning. I hope it was helpful for you and just allowed you to take a moment to think about taking care of yourself, because self-care is such a big part of self-love. And so I really want to make sure that you guys are doing those things as well as all the other things that we're trying to do to better ourselves. So before I pop out of here, I do want to share with you guys, if you're not watching this in my community, I have a community called Imperfectly Perfect You, Finding Self-Love at Any Size. We are women empowering each other to find that exact thing. Self-love journeys should not feel lonely. And I do truly believe that we can all find self-love at any size. I don't care what size you are, what shape you are. There are ways that we can work on ourselves, on our inner healing, so we are able to love ourselves exactly as we are in this moment. So if that is a community that feels like you could benefit from it, then please join this community. The link to the groups in the description of this video. So there's that. And then one more thing before I pop out. Where is it here? I have a program coming out soon. It is the Self-Love Revolution with Martina. It is a group coaching program for life. So you have me as your life coach for life. And I'm going to be helping you to transform your fear into courage, find self-love at any size, embrace who you are, show up just shining that light that I all see inside of you that feels like it's dimmed by what either society has taught you or diet culture has taught you. And we are going to unlearn all those things to be able to find movement we love, develop that deep soul self-care routine, being able to analyze like our chakras, being able to find movement we love, show up with confidence, all these things that make us feel alive, make us feel like we have found that piece of ourselves that has been missing. And so the Self-Love Revolution takes you through that and more. I have 3 super friends that are also in there that are going to be helping coach you through your self-love journey. And we are just there for each other and making sure that nobody gets left behind. Everyone feels like they are a part of something bigger, and they are learning to kind of heal their inner self and just shine like they were meant to shine. So that program is launching here in the next 2 weeks, and I'm so excited, and I have been working so hard on it for you guys. So I am excited to launch and get started on that part of our journeys. So if you want to take a sneak peek at the program on what it's all about, the link to it is in the description of this video as well. So excited for it, you guys. So anyway, I'm going to head out of here. I hope you guys have the best weekend. Here in Canada, it is Thanksgiving weekend. So make sure to show some gratitude to those people around you that you care about, gratitude to yourself, to your body, and we will see you guys